YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher Realms. Now, there has been a lot of discussion about the Grotesque Fiend, and I kind of want to just take a second to explain why he's good, and then just showcase it exactly as to how he works, and why he's even super relevant as a unit in general. So one of the main things about the Grotesque Fiend is he is pretty durable, because he has a 10% magic resist passive, and then secondly, which is probably the most important piece of his kit, is when a adjacent demon soldier dies, he will gain 10% HP, 10% size, and then 8% attack. And this triggers up to 10 times. So it allows him to just really effectively scale up and become a massive damage dealer and essentially like a tank as well. And then finally, one of the most important things as well is in regards to him being really tanky and durable is when his HP drops below 40%, he's going to restore 10% max HP per second for 10 seconds. Now, when you think about that, that is basically a 60% overheal. So he really kind of gets like an immortality state, essentially. Now, the drawback to him is he is going to get 10% increased damage from the Washguard faction, and he is also the Arbiters as well, right? But he's going to deal 15% increased damage to them. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. He deals more, but also he takes more. And then finally, his level 5 passive, which is really important, and obviously his level 7 passive is important as well. It makes him very tanky against like those Arbiters and those Watchguard faction units. But his level 5 gives him a 35% chance to deal damage one extra time. So it's pretty much very similar to how the Nightmare faction units are. Pretty much the exact same thing. Now what we're gonna do is we have all our units here. Feel pretty good about this build. Yeah, no, I might swap. Nah, I'll keep it. I'll keep the flyers. Who cares? All right, let's go ahead and get this set up and run it down here. So what I'm going to do, real quick, before I forget, Smile One is currently going and doing some really good packs in the shop. So if you go to the website using the link in the description below, you can get some really good packs like Ancient Shards, Rare Summoning Crystals, and a whole lot of awesome, really good rewards if you go ahead and obviously spend some money and get some W Gold. So if you're thinking about doing it, use the link in the description. Thank you. I am going to set up the map and just kind of let this map flow here. So one of the first things is we're going to get to about 10 cost. I personally just prefer to get to 10 cost. It's a little bit easier for me that way. So we drop the Grotesque Fiend, right? And then the next step is to drop rare bugs. What will happen is Ymrit, Valara, Praetus, and all those damage dealers will essentially take out the rare bugs and give this Grotesque Fiend 4 stacks, right? So that's about 36% attack boost, 40% HP, and then 40% size. The next step is we are going to drop another Grotesque Fiend and another set of bugs here. So I'm going to drop the Grotesque Fiend just about now, and then the bugs as well, just because I want to start putting pressure on the map as quickly as possible here. So what's going to happen is this Grotesque Fiend that went ahead and triggered his HP passive is going to get 4 more stacks here and just massively ramp up. And now you see both of them are going to start wailing on the Brokir, and they should essentially take out the Brokir in any second now, and they do. And then that one dies, and this one is perfectly positioned to start dealing damage to the Ymrit and successfully takes out the Ymrit. Our next step is we drop Flyer 1 and then Flyer 2. And notice this Grotesque Fiend is still alive, and he just gets pushed into the crystal here, which sets us up very nicely because Valara is ready to ult, which means she is going to become visible. And we have our healer and our flyers perfectly positioned here to where once Valara pushes them, our healer is going to be perfectly in place to essentially intercept and keep them alive. Never mind, our healer dies. Unlucky, right? But basically, this is fine because the healer takes out the Praetus. And then we go ahead and secure the win, right? So that's basically how the Grotesque Fiend works. There is some RNG involved naturally, right? You can get to a system in which the Grotesque Fiend doesn't do the double hits, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent. And that is a Valara Ymrit team, which is basically like the ultimate stall comp, at least in terms of damage and just CC. So we go ahead and secure a relatively safe W. And then we are also going to go ahead and showcase against the Nightmare team, where I'm going to pretty much do the exact same thing. Do I want to get fancy? No, I don't. I don't care to get fancy. Let's just do it like this. Exact same to be the Nightmare team here. So we're going to essentially set this up pretty much the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop... Do I want to drop a flyer? Yeah. I'll drop one flyer. And the whole reason is because I want to start putting Torador a little bit lower in terms of HP. The next step is we're going to drop a Grotesque Fiend and drop a Rare Bugs. Slow this down. So the flyer is going to essentially put Torador pretty much low HP. And what would be nice is if we are able to connect close enough to where the flyer's death will proc the Grotesque Fiend's growth. Wukong has ulted. He took out one of these spiders, which is perfect for us because that goes and scales up our Grotesque Fiend. And it also means that our Grotesque Fiend didn't take that damage. The next step is we're going to drop another Grotesque Fiend and drop the bugs. And our goal is to have these connect and scale up the Grotesque Fiend right around the time that he goes and heals himself. And remember how I said the Grotesque Fiend gets about 100, like 60% healing factor? That kind of comes into play here. It allows him to eat the entire Wukong ult. And now that all these units are going to die, both Grotesque Fiends are going to scale up immensely and take out the Torador very comfortably. The next step is they're going to start putting pressure on the Wukong, and they're also going to take out the Wukong because of their double hit passive. This allows us to drop a Lego Flower here, and we can drop even a healer if we really care to. And this should set us up very nicely to go ahead and snipe out the Ingrid here in a second. I'm going to drop another healer here just because. And then let's kind of run this through a little bit. Ingrid will swap over right around now. She should swap, but she dies. And then Hots is going to ult. She should take out the flyer, but she doesn't. Either way, it allows us to secure the win. So essentially, that's two separate ways in which you can use the Grotesque Fiend. And realistically, all you need to do is use 2 units to take out the tank. And it's a very reliable strategy, at least as it stands, especially when A5. And even if you get bad RNG, there's still some things that you can do to maneuver around it to go ahead and secure a win. So, yep. See ya.